Welcome aboard, listeners.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Skyliner Views. You will see tonight that I am very alone. Gabrielle is feeling the worst with a migraine currently, so she is in bed. I didn't feel like waking her up. Didn't feel like bothering her. Just letting her get better, feel better. As always, thank you to Pop Culture Pros for letting us on, letting us be on the network, doing the thing. I was gonna start doing like a new intro, maybe like welcome back to Skyliner Views, a Pop Culture Pros Network special. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm gonna give it a test run a few times and then see how it works. If you are seeing this, you are tuning in live on the Pop Culture Pros Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Every Thursday around 8:30, we tend to go live. We talk for about 45 minutes to an hour. We don't waste too much of your time. And we go about our day. It's really nice that people stop in and kind of give us things to talk about and have a chat. So if you are one of those people, thank you so much for doing that. I am currently trying to share this live to a bunch of Facebook pages just to get the word out. And some people have already declined. Thanks, guys. Oh, what do we have for today? In case your head is stuck in the sand, there was a literal hurricane at Walt Disney World. Not technically at Walt Disney World. I believe Hurricane Ian hit just south of Tampa. Steve, please correct me if I'm wrong. But Hurricane Ian was a Category 4 when he made landfall yesterday. And then overnight, downgraded to a tropical storm once Ian hit just south of Central Florida, just south of Orlando, I believe. My mom lives... Oh, yeah, my dog's here. And my cat's trying to be here, and it's not working the way it should. But anyways, my mom lives just south of Orlando, and she said it started in... There he is. Hey, Jarvis. You're going to walk all over my keys. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, we can't do that anymore. Yeah, she said it started in around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Things weren't too bad for her. She is safe. They just don't have power. Minimal damage to their house and to their neighbors' houses. I think a few trees are down in their neighborhood and stuff like that, but nothing crazy. So that is that. I just have one more share to do, and then you'll have my full attention. So I'm sorry. I just want people to know and to talk to me since I'm lonely tonight. Yeah, so first and foremost, the most important thing I want to do right now is put a thank you out to all of the cast members who are part of the Hurricane Rideout team. That team consists of a multitude of people who stay at the resorts, your front desk people, your line cooks, your entertainment cast, anyone who made staying at Walt Disney World during a hurricane doable. I just want to put out a thank you to all of them. I have not heard one bad review about the last, 48 hours. There's a little confusion on when the shelter in place started and all those things and what was happening there for a minute, but after everyone kind of figured that out, I read glowing reviews about how it was handled, what happened, how it happened, where it happened, and those kinds of things. So I'm really glad that they could kind of all get it figured out, I guess. So yeah, Hurricane Ian made landfall as a Category 4. Made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane on Wednesday afternoon in Fort Lauderdale. No, I'm not even going to try. It was in Florida. It was very south. There were winds of 150 miles an hour, and the worst of it was expected to hit Walt Disney World at 3 o'clock this morning. The storm was said to have brought record-breaking levels of flooding. I did see some pictures in various parts of Central Florida where the flooding was pretty bad. I haven't heard of any fatalities, injuries, or anything like that, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed and hope that everyone was safe during the hurricane for sure. If you are listening to this and you need disaster relief, the phone number to call is 1-800-342-3557. I thought I'd just throw that in there if there's anyone in Florida who is listening and is in need of any assistance during all of this. I hope you have that number. So I just kind of wanted to come on here and talk about what Walt Disney World does during a hurricane, how they handle their operations, and kind of what you could expect as a guest when staying at Walt Disney World. I do want to take a brief pause and say a brief thank you to our sponsor, Orlando for Families. They are a stroller rental company down in Orlando. Basically, if you are flying into Orlando and you don't want to travel with your stroller, which I do not blame you, my wife and I went through TSA with a stroller and our toddlers a couple weeks ago, and it was everything short of a shit show. If you book through Orlando for Families, you can skip the stroller at the airport, go straight to your resort, and someone from that company will meet you at your resort to give you your stroller. And with that stroller rental, you do get a free case of water. So that is something that is very useful. Water is so important on your Disney vacation. I know that's definitely not what this episode is about, but I cannot stress just drinking water. There wasn't enough water in the world. I feel like every time I ran out of water, I was like, okay, time for more water. Let's go get more ice water. Hey, has everyone drank water? Are we good? So yeah, that free case of water is super important, I would believe. And then once you use your stroller all week at Walt Disney World, Lee or his team will meet you at your resort. They'll pick up your stroller and you'll say a big old thank you to him. So definitely recommend Orlando for Families. They also have a Facebook and YouTube page. It's called Theme Park Ohana, where they kind of do some vlogging and cover all of the things. So yeah, definitely check out Orlando for Families. So with all of that, we are to our topic today, which is what happens at Walt Disney World when there is a hurricane. I'm sure there were several. I mean, I had a coworker today just like scrolling through MSN, and there were like several like clickbaity titles about what was going on. So I kind of just wanted to cover it because, like I said, a lot happens and a lot goes into it. And I think that it's super important that cast members really get the recognition they deserve for making all this happen. First and foremost, Disney tries everything they can to keep their parks open. I think that, was it yesterday? Yesterday, the day before, it had come out that like the bungalows at the Polynesian were going to close, Fort Wilderness campsites were going to close, and a few other like exterior buildings would be closing, like the DVC villas and stuff like that. That was the first thing to kind of come out, and Fantasia Gardens, the mini golf course. Next, they announced that Hoop-Dee-Doo Review wouldn't be running for 2-3 days. They're resuming the 31st. Yeah, because it says they wouldn't be running September 28th, 29th, and 30th. And then they closed the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. After all of that, the Orlando International Airport, MCO, came out and announced they were ceasing all of their operations yesterday morning at 10:30. So no flights in or out of Central Orlando beginning 10:30 a.m. After that, Disney kind of caught on, and they're like, if we don't have any flights coming in and out, we should probably close our parks. That seems, things are getting really intense. So once the hurricane upgraded to a Category 2, Disney started to really pay attention to what was going on. At 6 p.m. Monday, they announced that they weren't going to charge for advanced dining reservation cancellations, which I thought was super helpful because $20 per person, that sucks. My cats are fighting. That's hilarious. So basically, after the airport announces their cease of operations and Disney announces they're closing the theme parks, they come out and say, if you have a hotel reservation, you may not check in after 3 p.m. on September 28th. So starting at 3 p.m., everyone's stuck here. I mean, there's a way out, obviously, but there's not much of a way in, which I'm really curious about how that was. That like a hard 3 o'clock cutoff? Or, I mean, you've got to factor in like traffic, flights, and other just various things. I'm just really curious as to how that 3 p.m. cutoff really worked. Because even in previous jobs I've had, when there's a cutoff like that, it's always kind of like well, if they're like an hour late, it's fine. So yeah, I'd be curious to hear about that. Check-in was halted for 48 hours. So there were pictures circulating online of lines at the check-in desks that were probably an hour to an hour and a half long. And I just can't imagine. I know they gave out phone numbers for people to call as well, so I'm not sure if that the people in line for the front desk were just beyond the phone call of help, but that really sucks. I can't imagine that. So basically everyone's in there. They're all just kind of like, what do we do? What's going to happen? You know, Disney comes out with a menu for food. It's not great. God, my dog is so mean. It's not great. An adult breakfast meal, it's $5. I am really under the impression that they should not be charging these people to eat food because they're stuck during a hurricane. I guess they could do like Instacart or something like that, but I'm not a fan of them like charging money for mediocre food. Like the adult breakfast box, $5 will get you a bagel, a cereal bowl, fresh fruit, milk, yogurt, parfait, orange juice, cream cheese, butter, and jam. I want like a breakfast sandwich, which I also understand that like that takes a lot more effort and resources to cook rather than just like throwing bread and yogurt together, and I completely understand that and I get it. But like my breakfast foods have to be a little more extravagant. And then for lunch, basically they had the same boxed meals. You could get a roast beef sandwich for $7, tuna salad sandwich $7. Basically all these are $7. Ham and cheese, egg salad sandwich, chicken salad, vegetarian wrap. And it says they're all served with carrotinis, fresh fruit, potato chips, chocolate chip cookie, and a 20-ounce Dasani water. Also, I saw someone post that they were selling the cases of Dasani water for $7.99. And they're like, oh, this is such a deal. And I was like, no, it's not. That is not a deal. Take a cup, run it under your sink, and drink water because that is a ripoff. Sam says, honestly, Instacart and stuff like that wouldn't be operating the whole time. Those people would be hunkering down too. I just don't think they should be charged. Yeah, I agree. Like, I get they need to make their money where they can, but like, they got the money. Just feed the people these things that are very inexpensive for no money. And they didn't. I mean, you're going during hurricane season. I'm trying to play devil's advocate with myself. Like, you're going during hurricane season, so you should be prepared for things like this. But at the same time, you've got people coming from different parts of the world. They don't know anything about hurricane season, so they're not going to be prepared. They don't know. I saw several posts from people who were just like from like Europe and things like that going, I'm here. I've never been through something like this. I'm really scared. What's going to happen? Where can I get these amenities? Where can I get these foods? And it just really kind of pulls back the curtain on things like that. Like they don't know. So I'm gonna step down off my soapbox of Disney charging for dumb shit. But yeah, this menu is very inexpensive things for too much money when there's a literal hurricane. Where was I before I went off on all of that? Oh, so guests are check-in by 3 p.m. Between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m., they're free to do whatever. They had character sightings. The pools were open. Dining was open. I have a feeling shopping was open because, come on now, we're charging $7 for some barely edible food. Please buy our merchandise. So yeah, you could do all of these things. I know people were mingling, they were going out for walks and stuff like that. There were lots of character sightings too. Character sightings are just, they had a bunch of characters and they threw them in the lobby and they said, take a picture with Mrs. Incredible. And I think I saw Turk from Tarzan, Chip and Dale were there a bunch, Goofy, the Fab Five, all of those. There are a bunch of characters there. And once again, like I said, shout out to all the cast who were doing these things during this hurricane. And I do have to say that Disney puts the cast up in the hotel and they pay them from the second they clock in, while they're doing the character entertainment, while they're doing whatever, while they're sleeping, when they wake back up, when they're doing their job again, they're getting paid. And I believe they're getting paid either time and a half or double time for that. And it's deserved. I can't speak highly enough of that entire situation. So yeah, that was where the confusion was too, was that people were unaware that the pools were open. They were unaware that there were character sightings. They were unaware. Ooh, Fort Wilderness or Wilderness Lodge had the country bears out. Let's go. I did not see that. Sam also has family who are hunkered down at the Polynesian. They are safe. They're good. Just a bunch of flooding. That's basically what's coming out. All the reports coming out are a bunch of, it's just a lot of flooding. But yeah, that's where the confusion was. People just didn't know they could do all these things. Once they were checked in at 3, they thought they were confined to their rooms. So there was a little frustration about that. But like I said, then it came out that there was a shelter in place at 9 p.m. No one was allowed out of their room. Obviously, they're not going to hold people to that, but it was in place in the event that anything did happen. I saw some posts last night before I went to bed that said fire alarms kept going off. I don't think that had anything to do with really anything. Maybe wind related, electric related, but I don't think it was anything like traumatic related. Back to the food, but not really back to the food. The food court remained open until the shelter in place was activated. The menu was trash, like I said. The lines for the food boxes. I saw a post from Coronado, and the line was probably a mile long. It was so bad. I felt so bad. And like you said, Sam, like Instacart, those people shouldn't have been out working in those high winds and torrential downpours. Sam said her family's 3rd floor with a parking lot view, and they're doing great. That's good. I can't imagine. I hope they have a bigger room, too, because I can't imagine being stuck in a studio room with my family. I would probably hide in the bathroom a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. The food should be free, like I said. The line for the meal kits were just crazy. No way, Jose. And then Sam, listen to this. This is what kind of just finally was the tipping point for me. Toledo at Coronado, which is in the Grand Destino Tower, they were offering a storm buffet for $20 a person. $20. $20 for you to eat everything you can, which, okay, I get that. But I'm paying $25 to go eat at Ohana. $25 a person. And you're telling me that during this hurricane, you're not going to make the best food and you're going to charge me $20 for it? Not doing it. That was where my outrage really just started to flow. I was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm done ignoring this. This sucks. I am very thankful for the cast members who were there to cook the food, make the food, serve the food, that whole thing. I'm very thankful for that, and I'm glad that people were fed. I just don't think they should have been charged for it. And the whole storm buffet thing just... Psh. Yeah, I agree. My friend Shanda said, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it does suck. Tim says, what's up, Ashley? What's up, Tim? How you doing, buddy? Also, Tim, I can't remember if it was you that said White Claws aren't great. White Claws are great. Sam says, Jesus Christ, $20 during a crisis? No, thank you. Yeah, like, Disney has the money to do it. They just are greedy, as we all know. I'm still going to continue going to Disney. I'm still going to support cast and whoever I can, however I can. It just sucks. Yeah, Tim, I don't think it was you. I think it was Eric and Steve who were talking about the claw. but I'm drinking a Coors Light. No White Claws for me tonight. So yeah, that's all I kind of have when it comes to like preparations for all of it. They make sure everyone's fed, they make sure everyone is sheltered, and they make sure that everyone is safe. Tim said no man should drink a White Claw. That's why they drink Trulies, man, or Bud Light seltzers. Bud Light seltzers are good. So all of this happened leading up to today. Chanda said, I'm confident Disney owns the world. Yeah, I have a few friends who are very confident in that, and that is a conversation that I typically just walk away from. Not gonna lie. So all of this happens. It's all very successful. Like I was saying earlier, things work out great. Guests are very satisfied with the level of service that they had during their stay, and reports started coming out this morning. I had to work really early, so I was trying to catch up on reports during my lunch break today, and then when I got home, there's damage, as there is during a tropical storm. There's a few resorts out on the West Gate that have some structural damage, but all we're really seeing is just a lot of water, a lot of flooding, lots of just like little tears here and there and signage and stuff like that. I'm curious. The parks are open tomorrow. They're opening on a modified schedule. Let me see if I can find that real quick. They just came out with the modified schedule like right before I started recording. Let's see if I can find that. The parks are open, and I'm curious to see how they look tomorrow. And I will definitely be glued to my phone during all of this. Sorry, as I find this. It says the water parks are not opening. Fort Wilderness is not opening. Galactic Star Cruiser isn't opening. I would assume mini golf is also not opening. Modified hours. Magic Kingdom, 8 a.m. early theme park entry, 10 a.m. guest entry, 6 p.m. close. So that is 8 hours. Honestly, this is also kind of a waste. Epcot, 9 a.m. early entry, 11 a.m. all guests entry, and 9 p.m. close. Hollywood Studios, 10 a.m. early theme park entry, a noon open, and a 9 p.m. close. I don't know if they're just pushing back the open to try and make everything look somewhat presentable, but it's also, they're calling it a phased reopening. So it reminds me of COVID. There are definitely going to be things that aren't, what's the word I'm looking for? They aren't offered. And then there will be things that probably typically aren't offered that are because it was not damaged during the tropical storm. And then Animal Kingdom is an 11 a.m. early theme park entry and a 1 p.m. close. An 11 a.m. early theme park entry, a 1 p.m. guest entry, and a 7 p.m. close. I'm interested to see how that works. Disney Springs is open from 10 a.m. to 11:30. And it looks like Fantasia Fairways Mini Golf is open from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. So they must be pumping out the greens. All dining and Enchanted Extra experiences prior to listed park hours are canceled. Can you imagine having that be our guest? Hold on a second. Let me verify before I say this. I guess you could still have a Be Our Guest breakfast and it not be canceled. Transportation operating as normal pending weather protocols. So I'd imagine the Skyliner. Pardon me, just one second. The Skyliner will probably be running a modified schedule as the wind is probably still heavy and it's still raining. I saw several photos, several videos of them bringing the gondolas back out and starting to tighten up the chain to get them back to going again. Monorail, same thing. You never know. I never know what the state of the monorail is. Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's closed. It just depends on the direction the wind's blowing during that day. Boats, same thing. I will be curious to see if the boats run just because of the water conditions right now. Oh, let's see what's not open. Sorry, I'm just reading these live at this point because I didn't get a chance to read them earlier. Following locations are still temporarily closed. Fort Wilderness, the Treehouse Villas at Saratoga Springs, Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon, and Winter Summerland Miniature Golf. So, those are the things that are still closed. We're excited for them to get opened again. Like I said, saw some photos today. It was really just tree branches on the ground, flooding in certain areas, and not even flooding. That was too bad. I did notice the floating Skyliner station, as they title it, in between Art of Animation and Pop. There is a port underneath it to where boats can go back and forth in that. You couldn't see those tunnels. They were non-existent because the water had rose so much to it. Pools are flooded. Pools are green because rainwater. A couple signs torn here and there. The slide at the beach club. I can't think of the name of the pool right now, but the stuff on that boat is kind of torn off. But other than that, from what we have seen, Disney is in good shape. Over at Universal, it's kind of a different story. The structure to Jurassic Park, the water ride, some of the structure was torn off. We're not sure on that damage yet. We haven't heard. And then on the Incredible Hulk coaster, there's a tunnel where you kind of go underwater. That tunnel completely flooded. So things are a little different over at Universal. We are hoping and praying for them as well. I haven't seen much of that. I've just seen that the flooding and the structural damage and stuff like that. There were people taking pictures from resorts outside of Universal of that structure and the siding being ripped off of it. So hopefully they can get that patched up before the park opens tomorrow. I don't really have anything else for you guys tonight. Short episode. It sucks not having Gab on here. I had a few friends who I probably could have had on too, but it was just a last minute decision to kind of just let Gab sleep and come on here and just chat for a little bit. Chanda, Tim, Sam, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chatting. I appreciate you guys coming by, stopping by, and saying, hey, if anyone has any questions, any concerns about family, anything like that, I'm always here to chat. There are numbers. I gave the number for state assistance for her disaster relief in Florida. That number, once again, is 1-800-342-3557. Oh, Sam's back to say Universal has also announced that they will face opening and only offering to hotel guests at this time. I don't know much about Halloween Horror Nights. I think Halloween Horror Nights is on pause. I could be very wrong about that. I was reading reports. Honestly, I'm not done. The park shouldn't open tomorrow. Nothing should be open tomorrow. There are families who are flooded, families who have structural damage to their houses, family who might have friends, other family who just didn't have as great of a time during this hurricane. And it's not important for them to go to work tomorrow. I think that all the parks should stay closed tomorrow. And I know that that's their cash cow. That's their thing. They need to open. And I get that. I just think that their staff and their people could use another day to get their shit together, check in on their family, and make sure everyone around them is okay. Really, I just hate that for them. That's also kind of one of my soapbox things, is they could go another day and everyone would be fine. That's all I have. Sam, are you going to message me any last minute thoughts before I wrap this one up? I feel them coming. No last minute thoughts. All right, guys. Well, thanks for stopping by again. Oh, there it is. Honestly, this hurricane is Halloween Horror Nights' fault. Every year they use corn in some shape or form, and they always have a bad storm. I didn't know that about the whole corn thing. I will have to, you will probably be sending me TikToks about it, because I bet that's where this came from. Have a good night, guys. Have a good week. Gabrielle and I will be back next week. We are talking about our stay at Pop Century, what the pros were, what the cons were, if we think we're going to stay there again, how we rate it, how we would recommend it, and those kinds of things. Shanda, thanks again for stopping by. You're amazing. Sam, you are my Universal expert. I'm also going to be chatting with Sam soon on the podcast again too. Very informational. I'm going to say it again, and I hope you don't write me any more messages. But everyone, have a good week. Have a good night. Stay safe, Florida. I am praying for everyone down there. You guys are my thoughts and prayers. Do what you can. get your power back on, get your yard cleaned up, and hopefully normal life can resume soon. It's been real. It's been all right. My mountains are still blue on my course light. Oh, it's been real. It's been all right. My mountains are still blue on my course light. Have a good night, everybody.